Hi everyone, let's talk about Arkeis, which again is on Kickstarter right now. Campaign page is in the description. Check out all the final stuff there. If you're wondering where all of the game and stuff is, there's a playthrough of the first scenario of the game. Hopefully give you an idea about it. That's linked in the description as well. And yeah, as I mentioned in the playthrough itself, bear in mind I was paid to make that playthrough, so make of that whatever you will. So, what do we think? Based on, really, with a campaign-based game or a legacy game, I can only give you the impressions of, our limited experience. We've got, 3 scenarios of this. So, obviously, that's going to be limited in scope in terms of the enemies, in terms of the different things that we are going to be seeing. So, a lot of it is really based on, what have we seen here, and kind of extrapolating that, seeing the potential based on the premise that we have been given here. And yeah, I'm still excited by cooperative legacy games. I'm still kind of iffy about whether or not I would like to try another competitive one, but in terms of cooperative legacy games, Pandemic itself, it's based on an established formula, an established game, and that's part of the reason why it worked so well for us. But I really like the theme is very different. It is doing some similar things to a dungeon crawler, and it's got its own twists on there with how it's presenting these things with the room trays and things, and the nice little doors pinching it all together, in how you are exploring these things bit by bit, and you search these doors and then you find out more about what's in these rooms. You put tokens down at the start, but you're never putting down to enemies and things, so you are having these things revealed to you as you go through. But yeah, the theme makes quite a big difference to I love Gloomhaven, and I'm up for any kind of dungeon crawl and fantasy things like that, but it's at the same time as loving those things, it's a nice refreshing take to have this kind of this Indiana Jones, this ancient Egypt exploring temples thing. It's very different, and it is a breath of fresh air as well, and as well as having its own twists on it as well. I don't want to spoil any. I'll only hint at things that are in that starting scenario 0, but yeah, having things like this strange kind of, I don't know if you call it steampunk, this kind of mechanical thing in there that's, advanced technology and stuff. Frank here has got, if you can tell from his mini, he's got a robotic claw arm. But yeah, it's not futuristic in that sense, but it's this kind of melding of not necessarily technology, that's why I say steampunk, that kind of mechanical thing. I like that. That's kind of extra element onto the Egyptian thing. I think that it's very simple to get to grips with. Even though it's still a work in progress and it's not fully fleshed out, the tutorial, the way it's the rooms have been designed to teach you the things bit by bit, and the rulebook does a good job of teaching you those things. But it's still coming along. But it's very simple. You don't have to work out movement through tiles and stuff. It's just tiles are separated into these great big zones. A move action is just zone to zone. Searching, the symbols are right there on the tokens on the floor of each scenario, and then you have a deck for the scenario that you're playing, and you find the card that has the matching symbol on it, and that tells you what you have found, what door you've opened, anything like that. It's really, really simple to get to grips with, but it's nice that it is still full of surprises, and it has that exciting story to get you started. I like that we're picking up these different bits of equipment to influence you up. That's something that you would expect from other dungeon crawlers, but also it's got a nice way of forcing you along. You need some kind of time constraint to add pressure to you, but also you decide what you need to do. Is there time to fight all of these things? And so in this scenario, we saw it was the decapitated head, and there isn't much time to resolve this before the end of it. When you do resolve it, though, that's the end of the scenario. So how much are you willing to explore? How much are you willing to get around? And the other thing is that the way that enemies, and again, this is just in the first few scenarios, so final thing could be different, but the way that enemies are run by these, it's not so much AI cards, it's kind of their reactions to you. So there's going to be a start of turn effect that will usually put more, for scarabs anyway, usually put more of them out. The conditions of that will depend from which card you manage to draw. But you're not limited to only fighting them. You can do other things. Fighting them is nice that it's not this, they do have HP, but it's not this kind of, you don't need to worry about what they are doing. They are kind of reacting to your attacks. So if you roll really well on your attacks, you will just eliminate them and not take damage. You might take damage and still eliminate them, or you might just take damage. And you do manage to get items early on that can start influencing that combat. But being able to do the other actions as well, in addition to the pressure that's put on you by the card that's counting down your fate tokens, you can also think it's not just about, okay, this enemy's here, do I have to dodge it, do I have to fight it? You can be thinking, is there time to fight this thing? Can I afford it? Do I want to risk do I want to risk getting more and more scratches as I fight this thing and keep getting unlucky? Or knowing that there's only a couple of turns left, do I run for a room and hope that I find the resolution to the scenario in there? Because, it's our last ditch attempt, or I only came in here for this token, I've only got one action left, I don't really want to fight, I'll take the scratch in order to find out what this thing is, and then this thing inevitably is putting more scarabs out there. But yeah, it's a nice, not so much deterministic, because you are still using dice when you actually choose to fight them, but you know what the consequences are going to be for not fighting them, and you can kind of weigh up each time how important it is for you right now to be fighting them, or do you need to be considering other things? And I think that is an extra little twist. It's not just trying to beat a number. It's simplified in the sense that you just have 3 outcomes, or you have the face that is take fate tokens to change them to the face that you like. A character has a special action that spends fate tokens to manipulate things, and the fate tokens go in their backpack. And I don't know what that's going to lead to yet. And all of these mysterious items are going in backpacks, and it's that legacy. Or it works in campaign-based games as well, where our traumas are sticking with us. The difficulties we are having with our actions now that we've gotten traumas, they're staying with us between scenarios. The items we've got, maybe they're going to be useful in different scenarios. Maybe that's going to give us more options. I like that the dice, the inspection dice, we're not just rolling to see roll these dice, if you got this, get this item, get this item. That's cool. But also, we are trying to fill in the charts based on the scenario here. Whenever you roll a particular symbol with the inspection dice, you can jot them down in the chart for your particular scenario, and you are trying to fill up, maybe things specific to that scenario, a particular row. You're trying to get money so you can activate certain tents later on to get special abilities. You're trying to earn XP, which you can permanently upgrade your characters with, or you are trying to fill in columns that can get you mysterious objects that you don't know anything about yet, but you can use these rolls. If you can get as many of these rolls as possible, and you can get rewarded with them, mainly for searching through things. But that's another great little element that's, as far as my experience is concerned, that's something that I haven't really seen before. That is nice, rather than just finding these things. It's cool finding these things in the backpacks and stuff, but it's nice seeing that, find this thing, did you roll this? If not, we find a chest, and you roll the dice, did you manage to unlock it? I think I'm making this up. If you didn't manage to unlock it, you bring it with you. Maybe you'll be able to do it in a future scenario. Maybe you'll meet someone that can open it for you because you didn't quite manage it. But if you do manage to get the rolls, or you spent the masks to get the faces you needed, you can have a look in it. I really like that element to it as well. Of course, there's still dice, so there's still luck involved in, if you just needed one inspection die, you just needed one symbol to get the thing that you needed, or you just end up rolling crosses on the combat all the time. That's still going to be a factor, even with items and abilities manipulating that. So yeah, if that's too much of a problem for you, that's something to bear in mind. It's definitely, as I mentioned, it's early on in it, so I can't say how complex it ends up being, but I do like how really streamlined this feels, how really simple the actions are. to just get you into the game and just get you in the story and just get playing. I really appreciate that about it, but at the same time, you can watch the playthrough and decide for yourself, but maybe you'll want more variation in the abilities and the items and stuff. But like I say, maybe that's going to come along later. It's a tough position to be in. I can only really cover the first few scenarios in there, but we've really appreciated the... Not so much Justin, the surprises. We've been impressed every time that a new thing has been introduced to us, or a new thing to think about, or a teaser of basically finding something that goes into your lovely little backpack tuck box that you can rattle around later and wonder when that is going to come up again, so long as you make the right choices. I mentioned they didn't come up in the first scenario, but lovely minis. There are standees as well that come with them. But yeah, I imagine all sorts of different enemy types, scenarios, situations. We're going to be trying to solve this mystery, aren't we? We're really impressed with only playing 3 scenarios of it, which is everything that's contained in the prototype. I really want to find out more, but hopefully the playthrough is what will help you pique your interest, decide whether you are interested or not in finding out more about Arkeis. I'm going to go and film another one of these now. Bye everyone.